If you want to be good at communication, there is one thing you have to understand. Every time you're speaking up, people are not just listening to what you're saying, but they're evaluating the way you're saying things. And most people, they lose credibility before they're finishing their first sentence. And it's all because of one small habit that nobody ever taught us how to remove, but it destroys the way you come across. And this habit is using filler words. Like. Look, I'm not here to tell you you're doing something wrong. Using filler words is extremely human. And as I said, nobody at school teaches you how to not use them. But you need to understand that when you're going to a job interview or you're giving a presentation and it's full of filler words, it's destroying your chances of success. But don't worry, by the end of this video, you're going to learn how to remove filler words to sound more relaxed and confident. And if we haven't met before, I'm Ty Miller. I'm an ex-Googler turned public speaker and coach, and I'm also the founder of the Public Speaking Club. And over the last couple of years, I had the privilege of working with hundreds of professionals from the best organizations in the world, including Google, Salesforce, Accenture, Pinterest, etc. And what I was seeing over the years is patterns that are turning those speakers into elite. And those patterns are exactly the one that I'm going to share with you today. But before we dive into the 3 steps framework that will help you remove filler words completely, I have to challenge something you might be thinking. You might be thinking to yourself, come on Ty, everybody's using filler words, people saying like and all the time. It's not that bad. And you're right, using filler words, it's human, it's natural. But also getting out of breath when you run, but it doesn't mean that it's not a problem. The problem with filler words is that it can reduce your credibility. It's perfectly fine to use them when you're talking to your friends, but when you're going on a job interview or you have a big presentation, you have to make sure that you look confident and professional. And let me tell you this, often filler words are not the real problem, they're just the symptom. From my experience, I've seen that people are usually using filler words in one of 3 situations. 1, they're very stressed and nervous, and therefore they feel uncomfortable with the silence. 2nd, there is a gap between the speed of your speech and the speed of how your brain is processing things. And 3rd is the lack of the ability to adapt your speech between day-to-day to professional situations. So instead of just asking, how do I stop saying I want you to start asking yourself, what is really happening to my body when I'm speaking in high-stress situations? And in order to nail that, I've built a 3 steps framework that we're going to apply right now. It's called awareness, pause, and deliver. Move number 1 in removing filler words is awareness. You can't change a bad habit without being fully aware of it. You might think that your filler words is but in reality, it might be like, or just repeating a certain sentence again and again. So here's a couple of practical ways to identify your filler words. Option number 1 is to record yourself. If you're giving a presentation at work, put up a camera. If not, you can just do it yourself at home and talk about a random topic, all to identify the recurring filler words. Option number 2, just go to a friend or a family member and ask them, hey, what is the filler words that I'm using often? They're usually going to be able to tell you that. The goal here is simple. I want your brain to trigger a response every time this filler words is coming. And it starts from being aware every time it shows up. Step number 2 in removing filler words is pause. I remember growing up with English not being my first language, hearing native English speakers speak and think, whoa, they sound so cool and natural using filler words. They would say, oh, yeah. And I thought it's so cool. But in reality, over the years, I realized they just feel uncomfortable. In reality, if you actually want to sound confident and professional, you have to apply pauses and silences. So instead of saying something like, oh, I think that, we should go with the acquisition, say, I think we should go ahead with the acquisition. It's the same sentence, but with a completely different meaning and impact. Here comes the magic. Now that you have the awareness of what's your filler words, over time and practicing, you would feel it coming. And then instead of saying the filler words, I just want you to be aware of it and just pause and then move on. It will make a world of difference. And of course, this needs to be practiced, but I promise you, if you do it correctly, in about 30 days, you're never going to use this filler word again, and you're going to apply silence. Step number 3 in removing filler words is delivery. One of the biggest reasons why people use filler words is because when they're giving a presentation, a talk, or an interview, they're stuck in their head. They're thinking, what do I want to say? How do I sound like? They might rehearse their text in advance. I want you to stop doing all of those things. When you're speaking, when you're communicating, solely focus on the communication and the conversation, one thought at a time. When you're going to stop rehearsing and figuring it out and just be in the moment and communicate, you're going to feel that your calmness is so much higher. And the amount of filler words that you're going to use is going to be reduced dramatically. Look, using filler words is human. Nobody really taught us at school how to not do them. And between you and me, if you're using them every once in a while, it's not the end of the world. But if you want to elevate your communication skills, you must get rid of the filler words. And today we learn exactly how. Step number 1 is recognizing and getting the awareness of your filler words. Step number 2 is replacing those filler words with pauses. And this is happening through practicing. And third, be conscious and aware of the conversation or interview or presentation that you're giving instead of rehearsing and being in your head. If you compile these 3 steps, I promise you, you're going to reduce the amount of filler words you're using dramatically. That's it for today, guys. Thank you for joining. I really hope that this gave you real value and insights of how to remove your filler words. And if you want to get weekly insights to elevate your communication skills, like not as a filler word, actually like this video and subscribe. And of course, I'm going to see you there next week. And in the meantime, go communicate.